So this is my all-in-one robotics board from last year, and I've just cleaned off some of the wires that I had soldered on there, and I've sucked away any excess solder using my desoldering pump, this guy here. Now, I am going to proceed to taking my 21 header pins that I've just cut out, and I'm going to solder them onto my board for the additional connectivity. So I'm just going to take those guys and squeeze them down nice and gently, that they fit in nice and snug across there, and that will allow me access the link pads to connect different devices to my all-in-one robotics board. Now I'm going to solder those in place. So I'm just going to sit my board upside down and make sure that those guys are sitting in nice and snug. There they are, and we'll just zoom in a little bit so we can see this. Okay, there we go, and you can see a couple of my pins last year that I had wires soldered onto. You can see where there's a little bit of solder already on the back of the link pad. So I'm going to solder each one of those on, and just in line with good practice, I'm going to put a little bit of heat onto my link pad first for 4 or 5 seconds. Little dab of solder and remove. And I'm just going to do one in the middle here to hold it in place. So I'll go with the one I already had a little drop of solder on. 4 or 5 seconds to start a bit of heat, 1 drop of solder, and there we go. And I'll go on the very end again just to hold it in place. So I'll put a little bit of heat for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds. And a little bit of solder, there I go. And again, when you're doing this, always try and keep the heat down on the actual link pad so that the solder will flow around there first, and you get a good quality joint, a good quality connection on it. Doesn't take much solder to hold these in place, just a tiny little bit. Okay, so I'm nearly done there now. Again, when you're doing this, be really careful and conscious of allowing the solder to flow to the next pin, because if that happens, it'll short out on you and your microbit will start doing funny things and not function correctly for you. Okay, there we go. And I'm just going to have a little look and check that all those joints look okay. So I'm just looking along here. They look fairly good from this side. And I look at the back here. Yeah, they look pretty good to me there too. So that should mean now that my header pins are set up and I'm now ready for any connectivity I want to use those for. Again, we're going to use these with our jumper cables, and we're going to be able to come along and connect just by push fit anything we want to on our board now. So that's the first step of getting set up, is to have those link pads and header pins soldered together.